The most dangerous people are those who get mad for the sake of others, because those people tend to not have a regard for their own safety. This was a statement by Tanjiro's little brother, and it's honestly such a great way for this, I feel like, to start this video, because when you look at Tanjiro, he is such a kind and sweet character, but do not let that kindness fool you for weakness. Today we're going to be going over 3 times in the story where Tanjiro got angry, and when I say angry, I mean he gets angry. And as I quoted his brother earlier, Tanjiro is the type of person who does not get angry for his sake, but for the sake of others. Now, to not make it too predictable and boring, we'll not be doing them in a chronological order. What I mean by that, basically, we're just going to be talking about 3 events that happened in the story. Now let us begin, starting with the first moment, and that was when Tanjiro finally confronted Akasa again after the Mugen Train. The death of Rengoku, without a doubt, is one event in the story that shaped Tanjiro as a character and definitely pushed him to get stronger. Each time where Tanjiro was close to the wall of losing someone, the death of Kyojuro is something that he has a flashback of. And the most important thing that happened to Tanjiro at that night was the fact that he was reminded of just how weak he was in that fight. He literally watched someone who he considered to be like a big brother and a mentor get killed in front of him. After he confronts Agasa, he goes into this rage that honestly just builds up and up and up until it overflows him, and we see Tanjiro go into not only the world of transparent but also a new state called the world of nothingness, basically. And Akasa felt for the first time actual fear of Tanjiro. Tanjiro, even though Akasa could not sense him at all when he was in this state, if it wasn't for Tanjiro yelling, he would have caught Akasa. Because as Akasa explained, when Tanjiro was in this state, he could not sense his battle compass at all. And Akasa describes that even a baby has a battle compass. And the fact that he could not sense that coming from Tanjiro made him very, very dangerous indeed. And Akasa knew it right away. The second time we will be talking about today happened in that same arc. And that came against none other than the most powerful demon, Muzan. After Tanjiro was seemingly dead and his pulse was starting to get looser and looser, I don't know whether it was the medicine that Yujiro gave him or knowing the fact that if he does not defeat Muzan right here and right there and then, all would have been lost. Every sacrifice after this point would have been for nothing. Now every Hashira were completely out of the fight, and you can see just how much toll on their body that this battle had cost them. And not just Hashiras alone. We had Gyome, who had lost a leg, Giyu an arm, Obana has in the stomach. The same thing could be said for Zenitsu and Inosuke, and the only one who was left standing was Kanao. But as if he was Goku arriving to the scene, Tanjiro wakes up having completely mastered the sun breathing and just goes on this crazy 1v1 battle against Muzan. Now how big and monumental this was cannot be underestimated. Muzan just seconds earlier had legit won. But let's just say he was not ready for the reincarnation of Yurigi. Tanjiro goes toe to toe with Muzan, and the reason was actually explained to us, and this was different from the other times where we saw Tanjiro get angry. This Tanjiro was more calculated with his emotions, and he used it to almost channel the emotions he was feeling. And if we learned anything in anime and fiction, when a character can control their emotions, they literally become unstoppable. And that's what we saw Tanjiro do. And the final moment we're going to be talking about today is actually something we just saw in last week's episode of Demon Slayer. And honestly, what inspired me to make this video. And that was when Tanjiro activated his version of the Sharingan and Blitz's Daki. Now, there was actually an explanation of how Tanjiro went into this. And that was basically 2 things. One, Daki having 0 regards when it comes to human life. And just how cocky she was to killing innocent bystanders. And 2, the fact that Tanjiro legit forgot to breathe. Imagine being so angry that you forget to breathe. Well, that was Tanjiro, and it somewhat makes sense because when you think about it, if there is one thing we learned when it comes to strength in Demon Slayer world, is that breathing has a lot to do with it. The more you have mastery of your breath, the stronger you get. And Tanjiro not breathing at all lifted him up into a power that we haven't seen before in the story. What did you guys think? What were your favorite moments in the story? Definitely let me know in the comments below. Mine, it definitely has to be when Tanjiro got angry against Akasa, knowing very well the being in front of him was the person that was responsible for having such impact on Tanjiro's life. He just could not contain himself, and we saw him just built up into the point where he just explodes. Thanks so much for watching, and definitely if you have not done so already, subscribe to the channel as I am planning to make this a series. Thanks for watching.